on this football Monday, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We say hello from the Gulf Coast of Florida after that freezing day in Western New York. It is very pleasant, upper 60s, low 70s here in Tampa, where Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are in town in this wild card playoff game, trying to move on to the divisional round, and standing in his way is his counterpart, Baker Mayfield, getting set to go. What a first year it's been for Baker in a Buccaneers uniform. He's had a career year any way you look at it. Should be fun tonight. Great matchup on tap.
All we wanted was a chance to get in, and now we're here.
It's about controlling what we can.
Let's go! Let's go!
None of us are quitters. We got a lot of belief in that locker room.
Give me everything you got!
The playoffs is going to be tough in the game by any means necessary.
The whole world knows we're coming out.
There you go, fire the cannon!
When you get hit in football, you can stay down or you can get the F up. Nobody's quitting on this team.
Does it again.
We have one opportunity to do it. We control our own destiny.
The objective is to win. Nothing else matters. I believe in us.
Well, that sets the table for you as we welcome you to the Progressive Monday Night Kickoff. And before you get a chance to see us, we'll give you the playoff picture as we are getting set for the 6th and final wildcard playoff game over this long Super Wildcard weekend. All the matchups are set except one. Which one of these two teams will travel to Detroit to take on the Lions next Sunday? And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. My name is Joe Buck. That's the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. And we get set to go here tonight. These are two teams that played in week 3. Who knew at that time how the season would go really for either side? And for the Eagles, they're tired of hearing about the 10-1 start, losing 5 of their last 6. Their quarterback has a dislocated middle finger that he's dealing with on his throwing hand. There's a lot going against them coming in, but we know, we've seen a lot of this, the narrative can change with one good night, and that's what the Eagles are hoping for here in Tampa.
Well, they sure are, and when you talk to them, they all say that everything that they wanted to accomplish when the season began is right out there in front of them, but we all understand that they've got to play a lot better. So no A.J. Brown tonight, and that's going to impact Jalen Hurts, whether he can throw the ball efficiently or not. So what do? They're going to get behind this big offensive line and try to run the football and do what they really do best. They ran it for over 200 yards in that Week 3 game that you talk about. Now, this Bucs defense has been good all year, with the exception of that game. We'll see how well it goes, but that would be a good start in Philadelphia's beginning to have some good feelings about what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball.
You know, it's funny, it's been a roller coaster season on the other side too for the Buccaneers. Started out 3-1, then they hit the skids. Now they've won 5 of 6, and we talk about their quarterback. He's not healthy either. Baker Mayfield's got bad rib cage, he's got a bad ankle, but what a year he's had in his first go around here with the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Tampa Bay bet on him, and Baker bet on himself, and it paid off because they needed a quarterback that was in that range of salary that Baker accepted, and they needed him, however, to play like a top 10 quarterback. I've always felt Baker's at his best when he has his swagger and playing with his confidence and a little bit of arrogance out there on the field. He has that in spades right now. He's as comfortable and as confident as he has been at any point in his NFL career. Can't wait to watch him play.
Yeah, it's a fun matchup any way you look at it. And we are moments away from the kickoff. We've got vets who have been through the wars, whether it's Jason Kelsey or Fletcher Cox. On the other side, Mike Evans or the All-Pro Antoine Winfield Jr. You're watching the Progressive Monday Night Kickoff. is a wild card playoff game in Tampa, Florida. Bucks and Eagles. You know it's a big game when both sidelines are covered in person. They are tonight. And we'll start on the Philadelphia side with Lisa Salters. Lisa.
Joe, Jalen Hurts says dealing with a painful dislocated middle finger on his throwing hand is a new injury for him. So he's going into this game with some uncertainty. The injury happened just 8 days ago when the Eagles lost to the Giants. Hurts said he didn't know whether it was dislocated or broken as he was walking back to the sideline, but then was able to pop it back into place himself once he got to the Eagles bench. Hurts will wear a glove on his right hand tonight for the first time ever in his career to help him grip the ball better. He wore it in practice all week, and Nick Sirianni said Jalen was, quote, spinning it pretty good. But Hurts told us he's still navigating his way through wearing that glove. I'm not going to lie to you, he said. It's very annoying to have this going on. I don't know how it's going to go. Now over to Laura Rutledge on the Tampa sideline.
Thanks, Lisa. Baker Mayfield also playing with injuries tonight to his ankle and his ribs. And it's his right ankle, but they actually put heavy tape on both ankles to keep it as secure as possible and comfortable for him. He said he wouldn't miss this game for the world. To get the ribs in a situation where he can play, they did a lot of soft tissue work in between each rib, even moving his entire rib cage down manually to create space for healing. As you might imagine, it's pretty painful. But as Todd Bowles, the head coach, said, Baker's no stranger to playing through pain. It's that grit that rubs off on this team. And wide receiver Mike Evans told me that Baker brings so much energy. He said he's scrappy. He's been doubted every step of the way. And he said that's all of us. Joe, another opportunity for these Buccaneers to prove those doubters wrong tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Laura. Opportunity everywhere, and injuries have a way of disappearing this time of year. Ric Flair getting the crowd fired up. Woo! Yeah, there it is. Football coming up. We've got one more game to go in Super Wildcard Weekend.
Yeah, these two teams are ready to fight for a divisional playoff spot.
This is playoff football. Way to go home.
Downfield, touchdown!
Blood, sweat, and tears. No huddle, no mercy, no fears. Change speeds on the stop of a dime. Spike in the nick of time. Fight when it's on the line. Right now it's playoff time. Ain't no cheat codes or Ricos, so we dig deep to defeat foes. Kick it.
Hurts takes it right up the gut. Oh, what a catch. Got it. They're going for it all. Caught! Touchdown! A wink and a smile, and away we go. Moments ago, present at tonight's coin toss, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s son, Martin Luther King III, his wife, Andrea Waters King, and their daughter, Yolanda Renee King. What an honor it is to have them in the stadium with us tonight. Adrian Hill is our referee. He flipped the coin. The Eagles won the toss. They defer. So that means that the Bucs will start the night with the ball. Jake Elliott will kick it away, and Devin Tompkins is back to return for the Buccaneers. Winner of this game heads to Detroit for a matchup with the Lions next Sunday. 3-0 game in this wild card matchup between the Buccaneers and the Eagles. Some of these celebs in the house tonight. Hall of Famer Warren Sapp, what a player he was to cover in his time. Aaron Judge is here smiling, the New York Yankee and the former American League MVP. And Lincoln Riley, you spotted him early down on the sideline watching his guy Baker.
Yeah, of course he coached him there at the University of Oklahoma. I talked to Barry Switzer a couple of nights ago. He said he was going to be watching this game as well because of Baker.
It's time for the Arby's free classic roast beef sandwich break. Download the Arby's app and join Arby's Rewards to get 1 free classic roast beef. Arby's, we have the meats.
For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, they had not scored a touchdown in 7 of their last 8 quarters. They've been getting yardage in big chunks. The tackling and the angles by the members of the secondary for the Philadelphia Eagles has been stunningly bad. And it's a 10-0 game here early in Tampa Bay as we go back to the touchdown.
They got Avonte Maddox who's playing safety. He's here. And then Cade Otton, the tight end, is who he's covering. So Cade Otton, he starts as though he's going to help in protection. When he starts to drag, here comes Maddox, and he's the one who takes out Eli Ricks. And this is really coverage 101. When you're talking about playing man coverage, you've got to expect the crossers, and you've got to navigate those bodies. And yet Maddox wasn't even in a press position. And he comes down and takes out his own guy and makes it pretty easy, but a good finish there by David Moore to get it into the end zone.
Scoring. You talk about Diaby, who is a 24-year-old rookie, didn't get a scholarship offer out of high school because of poor grades, took a job pushing wheelchairs at the Atlanta airport, got his grades up, went to Georgia Military College, went to Louisville off that, and he's had a great year. As you see, his stats led his team in sacks.
Yeah, you see what they're going to do here. Philadelphia is now on 3rd and 2.
Number 1, a quarter dominated by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, winners of the NFC South. Baker trying to fire up the home crowd. They're off to a good start, trying to stamp their ticket for a date with the Lions on Sunday.
I've got something you want.
The NFL and ESPN are proud to be supporting a new initiative called Realizing the Dream, a movement to rally communities to perform 100 million hours of service leading up to the 100th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. We can all contribute to MLK's legacy through acts of volunteerism and social change as we play here in Tampa, Florida on a day that would have been Dr. King's 95th birthday. 13-0, Tampa Bay on top, and the Eagles looking for a spark, about to get it back with Camarda to kick it away. And Boston Scott waiting for it for the Eagles. Well, the Eagles started this season looking like they were building something special. Through week 12, they sat atop the league at 10-1. But since that point, they've had trouble cracking the win column. Philadelphia lost 5 of their last 6 and fell to the number 5 seed in the NFC. Things happen fast in the National Football League, and for as bad as it's been, I'll say it again, they've got 3 quarters ahead of them. ESPN's NFL Wild Card is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, the right call for your home and car. Burger King and H&R Block, it's better with Block. Our Monday Night Football Wild Card game last year turned out to be Tom Brady's last NFL game as the Bucs faced the Cowboys, and Dallas won it 31-14. We're going to compare Baker Mayfield to the GOAT, at least in the last season for Tom Brady, 2022. And the numbers for Baker on the left, and for Mayfield, those are career highs in the important categories in his 6-year career.
Yeah,
good second-year pro, made that stop. It's been a lot of voices he's had to listen to in his 6-year career. 8 head coaches, including interim coaches, that have been at the control when Baker walked into the building.
Yeah, you know, it kind of started last year with Sean McVay when he went to the Rams, and McVay said, hey, I just want you to be Baker Mayfield. And then when he signed with Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles and Jason Light both told him the same, and that's all he needed to hear.
Here's 3 for 3 on the night. And the lead back to 13 for the Buccaneers. You're watching ESPN's NFL Wildcard Game presented by Verizon.
Want to stay up to date? Just tell Siri, show me football scores.
Well, this football score is 16-3. As we welcome you back to Tampa, Florida. Downtown Tampa is just revitalized. It is fun down there.
It really is. Yeah, that was.
Coming up on the All-State halftime, we'll have reaction about this first half and highlights from the Steelers and Bills. Bills won that game just before we came on the air, 31-17. And so in the AFC, Texans will visit Baltimore, the #1 seed. C.J. Stroud, what a start he had to his playoff career. That'll be on Saturday on ABC and ESPN. Here's Mayfield airing it out and overthrowing Godwin. And Kansas City at Buffalo, 3-2 in the divisional round of the AFC. So the NFL divisional playoffs presented by Intuit TurboTax kick off this upcoming weekend. Saturday, Houston playing in Baltimore at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ABC, followed by Green Bay, San Francisco at 8 on Fox. And then on Sunday, the winner of tonight's game faces off against Detroit at 3 Eastern on NBC, followed by Kansas City at Buffalo at 6:30 on CBS.
Well, a lot of great performances over the weekend, no doubt. C.J. Stroud, who had a big game to get into the playoffs week 18, followed it up with a big win against Cleveland.
Before the first play from the 9-yard line for Philadelphia, they have a timeout, 1:33 left. A chance here at the end of the half to feel even better about what really got off to a poor start.
Yeah, they're backed up. They'll be aggressive, of course. You would expect that, and I think Tampa Bay will be as well. But even if nothing happens, the fact that they were able to get down the field on their prior possession and get the touchdown, and it at least allowed them to get right back into this game.
Clock continues to run. Neither team showing any desire to stop it. And that'll end the half with the Eagles set to get the ball to start the second half. Baker Mayfield, a good half. Could have been better if not for some drops. But a 7-point lead halfway through the 6th and final wild card game of this long weekend. Stay tuned. The All-State halftime coming up next.
Some people just know that the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on Paul. You don't want to ride with Paul. Or Sarah. Not today, anyway. And you don't want a rate based on Ben. He's got some important business to take care of. Why would you pay a rate based on anyone else? With Allstate, you're connected to a rate based on you.
Tonight's first half highlights are presented by Target. It's a fun matchup. Away we go in Tampa, Florida. Wide open, there's more. Still working through this secondary. And a touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Everything has been a challenge for Philadelphia. Something as simple as just catching the football.
And more missed tackles for Philadelphia.
And it's been an issue.
Pushed from behind, and he didn't get it. A stop for the Buccaneers defense. Those were our first half highlights brought to you by Target as we get set for the second half here in Tampa. Welcome back to ESPN's NFL Wildcard Game presented by Verizon. Eagles about to get the ball back to start this second half as they trail by 7. this could look a lot different if not for some drops by Tampa Bay. And if you're Philly, you got something to talk about at halftime. This is a one-score game. Let's get it going.
Yeah, I agree. Philadelphia is lucky that the score is as close as it is. I do think they came out, they ran the ball the first 2 plays to start the game, and then they just ran it 3 more times the rest of the half. That's different from what our conversation was. They were going to lean on this offensive line. They knew they were going to get overloaded boxes by Tampa Bay defensively, but without A.J. Brown, their number 1 wide receiver, Julio Jones is banged up. Now you would think more than ever they would at least try to run the football a little bit more than they have.
Send it down to Lisa Salters.
Well, Joe, Jalen Hurts playing with that dislocated middle finger, not wearing a glove tonight. Nick Sirianni said that he thinks that Hurts is playing really well, getting the ball to where it needs to go. And he said he really thought that the offense got jump-started with that big catch by Devontae Smith that led to a touchdown. He said, we've just got to continue to handle the pressure that they are bringing. And an update on Julio Jones, he was being evaluated for a concussion. He has now been ruled out.
Had 3 catches in the first half, 22 yards. Devontae, 4 for 111. They start with a run. It's Swift over the right side, and he's brought down from behind by David. Let's send it down to Laura Rutledge on the other sideline. Well, welcome to the crew. We lost her mic. Second down and 11. We'll get back to Laura. You're watching ESPN's NFL Wildcard Game presented by Verizon. Still a 7-point game. Second possession, second half for Philadelphia. The Eagles fans travel well. We'll look at the 2 quarterbacks tonight, Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield. Mayfield's had the better night, and with the Eagles getting the ball back after that sack by Milton Williams, they are going to start at their 10. It's the 3rd time in the last 4 drives Philadelphia started inside their own 15. They've not started a drive outside their own 25 all night. Arc brought down short of the 30, and we'll send it down to Laura.
Well, Joe, you and Troy have talked about the leadership of Baker Mayfield and also that swagger. You see it throughout the game on the sideline, and right before that touchdown drive, he had gone to the offensive line and said, let's get back to the game that we play. Let's be aggressive. He said the same thing to the wide receivers, who, by the way, throughout this game, he's encouraged despite the drops. He keeps telling him he trusts in him, specifically Mike Evans, and of course he's going to keep going back to him.
It's 20. But a game that so far has been dominated by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here at home, up by 16. 1 quarter to go. Leading the Eagles 25-9. Tonight's aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Tampa, Florida, home of the Buccaneers. Raymond James Stadium, 26th year it's been home to the Bucs. And tonight trying to get a playoff win to stamp their ticket for a Sunday game in Detroit. Leading by 16, Philadelphia on the move for Rachaad White. Mike Evans, they were trying to get a deal done, or he was hopeful to get a deal done, an extension before the season started. They didn't get it done. But when you look at what he's done in the history of this Bucs franchise, which goes back to the middle 70s, there's Mike Evans, and then there's a distant everybody else in those 3 main categories of catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns.
Well, the yards speak for themselves, the 1,000-yard seasons. What's impressive to me, in order to do that, you have to play. So this is a guy who doesn't miss many games. It's what's impressed me about Emmitt Smith's rushing record. Here in Detroit, and congratulations to Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, the whole city for that matter.
Timeout was taken here by Philadelphia. We'll welcome you back inside the booth. So, who knows where this goes for Philadelphia if this doesn't turn around. But there's been plenty of movement in the coaching ranks already. You've got Jim Harbaugh, who's out there and has already interviewed with the Chargers. You've got Bill Belichick circling around many different franchises. So it's unfathomable to just think of the collapse that this Eagles team has undergone here over the past 2 months.
No, it's hard to believe. I mean, the questions over the last several weeks is what's going to happen to Nick Sirianni following this game. And, you know, it's anybody's guess. It's hard to believe that a guy who's made the postseason 3 straight years, was just short of winning the Super Bowl a year ago, could potentially lose his job. But Jeff Lurie has shown that he's not a patient guy, whether that was with Chip Kelly or with Doug Peterson. And Howie Roseman will obviously be a part of those conversations as well as the general manager, but it hasn't been good to end this season.
No, Philadelphia takes a timeout, their final one. Jeffrey Lurie, 72 years old, grew up in Boston. His 30th year as the owner in Philadelphia. It's been a great run, and no doubt that will continue. In their 18th time they've been in the playoffs with him at the helm, and you start talking about the veterans. There's still years left on Lane Johnson's deal, but Fletcher Cox has been an amazing player and leader for the Eagles. Jason Kelce, there's just nobody like him. 6-time All-Pro at center. Brandon Graham. I mean, you've got veteran leadership, and who knows where those 3 players will be when next season starts.
Yeah, regardless of whatever happens in the coaching ranks, it's going to have a different look and feel to that roster. Those have been great players. They've been Mount Rushmore players for the organization.
Rachaad White brought down by Morrow after a gain of 4. And the thing is about all those players we just showed, they're all still really good. Lane Johnson is still an outstanding right tackle, going to his 5th Pro Bowl. Fletcher Cox can still play. Brandon Graham and Jason Kelce. I mean, when he says he's done, it's just going to be because he's tired of playing, because he's still at the top of his profession.
He's the Peyton Manning of centers. You know, he's fantastic and calls out the blitzes and helps Jalen Hurts, and he can still play at a high level. Pro Bowl.
Here's well, these 2 teams that will hook up on Sunday got together in week 6. So the Buccaneers played the Eagles week 3. 3 weeks later, they play the Lions. Goff had a big game. Baker Mayfield, not so much. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, who just continues to shine for the Detroit Lions, had a big, big game.
Have near the season, didn't win near the games. But the only thing you have to say for your year is you got to play one more game than they did.
Frustrating night on that sideline. Fun on that sideline. 2 minutes left in Tampa Bay. Look at that Todd Bowles smile.
Hey, Scott Van Pelt here, getting set for Sports Center. Joe and Troy will join me from the booth. Ryan Clark down here on the field to break this game down. We'll hear from the coaches, the quarterbacks, one of the star players as well. Also, the Bills knock off the Steelers. Sets up another big one with the Chiefs next weekend. We'll talk about all that and more when this is done. 2 minutes till the party starts for sure, fellas.
Yeah, there will be one here in Tampa, Florida, no doubt, and Baker Mayfield will be DJing.
Really something.
Take a look at the overall bracket. Kelce, by the way, just checked out of the game. There are the matchups. Top left in the divisional, Ravens and Texans. We talked about Kansas City will be at Buffalo. And then on the right side of the screen, Green Bay, the number 7 seed, at San Francisco. And these Bucs will head to Detroit to take on the Lions. Kelce watching. Who knows what his future is. Here's Gainwell. And that will do it.
Well, that looks like a man filled with emotion right now.
Sure does. Jeff Stoutland, his beloved offensive line coach. And you wonder if that's it for the 36-year-old Jason Kelce. That's not it. for Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What a night tonight for Tampa Bay and a 32-9 win. Uncertainty on the Eagles sideline. And a proud night for Todd Bowles and his crew. With a win, they were in charge really from the get-go. And off to Detroit they go.
Yeah, no one knows what next week will bring for Baker Mayfield and this Tampa team, but doesn't really matter. Making it to the playoffs and then being able to win this game here at home tonight, no doubt, any way you look at it, a huge success for Todd Bowles and the team this year.
Let's send it down to Lisa Salters.
Baker, it's been 3 years since your last playoff win. Just what has the wait been like?
We fought so hard to get to this point, to get a chance to be in the playoffs, and I'm so proud of this team tonight. The way we came out and started fast. I'm so proud. And so we wanted to give ourselves a chance, and now we did just that. We can play better than we did tonight, but it's on to the next one, so we're on to Detroit.
You've said that this is the most fun, the most comfortable you've been in such a long time. Just what felt good tonight with this offense?
Just the communication throughout the week. Everybody was on the same page, knew what we were going to do offensively, schematically, and came out and attacked. Obviously got to make a few more plays overall on offense, but we made more than enough to win tonight.
And it wasn't just Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. It was Trey Palmer, David Moore, K-Dot. And just what does that say about this group?
It's huge for us, for our younger guys to step up like that. You know, a lot of teams are going to try and double cover Mike and Chris. And so for those guys to step up and make huge plays for us tonight is big time. So looking to capitalize that and learn and grow from it.
And as you watched your defense shut them down, just what impressed you most?
They're so damn good. They're fun to watch. I mean, I'm glad Antoine Winfield finally got the recognition he deserves with the All-Pro, but we got so many studs over there, and they've been getting better and better as the year goes on, and they're playing really good at the right time for us.
It's on to Detroit now. You're going up against another quarterback who's had to start over, who's had to reinvent himself. You and Jared Goff both really give us so many reasons to root. What's going to be the key in that one?
We played them early on in the year as well. Didn't play our best ball, so and they're playing really well right now. So for us, getting the little things fixed, going back and looking at that film, but just trying to carry this momentum and stick together. That's the main thing for us, stick together.
We know you're all banged up, the ribs, the ankle. How's everything feeling?
A win cures a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Baker Mayfield with the post-game interview. Jason Kelsey over with his wife Kylie. Who knows what the future is for Jason? We know what the future is for Baker Mayfield. There's Jason. What a warrior, what a player he has been for the Philadelphia Eagles, and a great representative of Philadelphia, the Eagles, and the NFL. But this night is also about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Moving on to the divisional round. A date with the Lions coming up. This has been a presentation of the NFL playoffs on ESPN and ABC. On Saturday, the divisional playoff game between Houston and Baltimore at 4:15 Eastern on ESPN and ABC. For all of us, we send it to Scott Van Pelt.
Joe, thank you very much. What a scene here in Tampa Bay. They earn the right to continue on. They'll take on the Lions next weekend. The Eagles season comes to an end in a disappointing thud. We'll visit with one of the stars of the game. For most of you watching on ABC, your late local news is next. The post-game show starts on ESPN in just 3 minutes from now. So stick around. We will see you then.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.